David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. We are here for another discussion about the Bond community, and you've seen him. He's I don't want to say he's my nemesis. He's probably one of my best friends, but he's definitely interrupted a lot of the Bond experiences. You've been seeing him for years, but you probably know him from being James Bond. It's Joe Darlington. Joe,
sir,
welcome.
Nice to see you again.
All right, I've been doing a lot of these Bond community, influencers in the Bond community. This is the one I'm the most excited about because I think out of everyone, I've known you the longest. Mm-hmm. Is it like 12, 13 years?
It was just after Casino, before Quantum, so it's got to be going
28
on.
years. That's like 28.
Is it
36?
more like
I don't know.
11?
I'm so bad at math. I use a calculator.
12? Yeah.
It's something like that.
Yeah. It's a while, yeah. It's hard to believe it. Time has flown.
So it has, and by the way, the man never changes. He's got this deal with the devil. Very young looking. He's patting his stomach. It's three-dimensional. But we got to start by something that it may be obvious to some people, because some people shockingly do not know who you are. What is being James Bond?
Being James Bond, it's a podcast. It's videos, it's a book. It's been around for 12 years now because I literally did my first podcast the week before Casino Royale came out.
Oh my gosh.
Little did I know that I was going to just go crazy after Casino Royale came out, but it was...
And slow down, because something inspired you. Mm-hmm. You said there's a niche out there, there's a gap. What was it that started it?
I was always a Bond fan, a hardcore Bond fan. Every time I had to buy some new clothes, I would put in a Bond video and I'd try to match what Bond was wearing. And I was always finding myself trying to learn the things that Bond knew how to do. If he knows how to play blackjack, I'm going to play blackjack. When poker, boom, I'm going to learn how to play poker.
He's a very capable individual.
Oddly capable.
Yeah.
There's nothing he can't do, to the point where I said to myself, is it even humanly possible to know all these things?
Knowing butterflies and fish, for God's sake.
Literally, right. So, can a person know all these things? And I said to myself, well, let's put it to the test. Let me see how much I can actually glean and put together. Yeah. And of course, my stack of how-to books were getting higher and higher. And I said, you know what? What if somebody just sort of put all this stuff in one spot? Right. How do you learn how to do all these things? The cocktails, the travel, the clothing, the abilities. So that was sort of how it came together.
Right.
I kind of took all the things I was trying to learn how to do and I consolidated and said, you know what? And it was also around, by the way, when podcasting sort of became a thing.
Yes.
And I was you know what?
It was never a thing before that.
There you go.
Right.
It was right around that time it got popularized. And I kind of did one for a friend of mine for the Bond video games. And I was like, this is pretty fun.
Yeah.
So why not? So that's sort of how the podcast came together.
And for those of you under the age of 40, you have to understand, back then, it wasn't like you could swing a cat and hit a James Bond podcast. Nowadays, if you put in James Bond into the podcast search, there's like 58. And you got to figure, is it a clothing one you want, or is it something about the teeth of James Bond?
Totally.
It's all over.
It really has gotten to be a big thing, and I honestly think I'm probably the oldest one at this point, and I think CommanderBond.net had me beat, but I think they sort of let it fall to the wayside.
Yes.
So I think I finally got that prize.
You do have that thing. So we could ask some very cliche question, but you're better off going to beingjamesbond.com and really searching that out. That's not what this vlog is about. It's about getting to know Joe Darlington a little bit better.
Sure.
So we have to ask you, and we've been asking everybody this, is obviously you must realize that being James Bond has had an influence over the Bond community, the fans, how to connect and be like James Bond. But what was the first instance where you were like, this may be bigger than New Jersey and Joe Darlington? What was the first story?
I think when I started to hear from people, I got a lot of emails and people would write in and say, hey, it's awesome, I love it, keep doing it. And I would see the places where they would live. I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. When I started to travel more with and meeting a lot of the Bond people, and people would sort of say, oh, you're that one. Was kind of cool.
That one.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
No, it's not at all. The night we went to the Daniel Craig thing was pretty cool because...
you have to explain what the Daniel Craig thing is.
The Daniel Craig thing...
That just sounds like, we betted him or something like that. It was so much more.
It was a really cool... It was an evening with Daniel Craig where Daniel Craig was answering questions. He was on stage. He was in Manhattan. And it was great because, of course, like Mr. Zaritsky here, everybody is going, hey, I know you because you do all the videos. And I'm sitting there going like, yeah, that would have been nice too. It wasn't until I actually got to the mic and asked a question that somebody finally walked up and said, hey, aren't you being James Bond? And I went... Yes, I am. Thank you.
Damn it.
So I'm like, boom, I got one. So yeah, stuff like that is pretty
Yeah.
cool. And again, the best part of doing all of it is the people that you meet through it.
Right.
The Bond community. I mean, again, it's like there's a line in the Thomas Crown Affair when she says, "Art is a small world." You know, that's how I always say Bond is a small world.
It's very small.
You know, you meet people and you know them from someplace. So when you finally meet in person, you kind of go, "Oh yeah, I know you from wherever."
I'll tell you how I knew that being James Bond had really just branched out, really just kind of burgeoned. Was I was talking to somebody. It was actually on a trip, and I think it could have been my first trip to Piz Gloria. And I remember talking to somebody about Volume 1. And I literally thought this individual could have no idea what I was talking about. And they said, yeah, I wonder when Volume 2 is going to come out. And I'm like, shit, like this person knows, they've read it, they've engaged it. So I think it's always bigger than you expect. You know, that type of thing.
True.
All right, so speaking to the Bond community, this is going to be an interesting question. And I'll tell you, you've seen how some of this has been answered. Tell me first, what do you love about the Bond community? I mean, what is that great aspect of it?
Yeah, I tell you, I mean, it's almost. I almost feel like it's sort of a cop-out answer because it's probably assumed at this point.
Right.
It's the community people.
It is.
It really is. The people that you meet. I mean, you know, it's funny. Most people will sort of grow 20s, 30s, 40s, and never really make new good friends beyond like high school and college.
Right.
The Bond community, I've literally met so many people, probably hundreds that I honestly, like, good friends that I would love to. I love hanging around with, love getting together with.
You've gone on vacations. You've cried
Absolutely.
with.
Oh my God! And seriously, I mean, like good, like not even just sort of passing. Oh hey, what's up? No, good friends.
Yeah, it's true.
So I mean, it's really crazy. And the funny thing is, as you know, like we don't just get together and go, oh, Bond this and Bond that. You just talk. I mean, it's just you talk about life. Because again, it's you know. I mean, it's like guys like us, like we probably have other things that we love, like, you know, Star Trek and Star Wars and the Marvel movies. Like we kind of love these things. Those diehard fans, like, what do they really have? They get cosplay once in a while and Comic-Con, and it's great. But we have like a whole life of stuff to do. Yeah. You know, like we go places and we visit things and it's good food and good cocktails and good clothes. So you know, again, it kind of affects real life much more.
I find that. If you talk about Bond too much, first of all, usually we're with significant others, and it's exhausting for them, so we want to be fair.
But they're usually good sports.
They're usually very good sports because they get to travel and have fine food. I mean, Bond is not, wearing sharp ears. It's wearing good clothes and eating great food. Seriously. But I find that it's exhausting to be doing Sean Connery quotes, ad nauseum. I mean, there are people that do that, and, we love them dearly. Yeah. But the reality is that it's exhausting, and so you open life up, and you can make those fast, long friends.
Right. I mean, you're genuinely making friends that you would have beyond Bond. It's like once you make that first Bond connection, that's how you sort of. But it sort of goes from there. Yeah. And you have genuine lifelong friends that.
Such a nice answer. A lot of warm and fuzzies out there all over the world. Yes, you in Tennessee, but. What's something that really irks you about the Bond community?
Irks me.
It just.
Yeah, not much, but yeah, I guess like any other social construct, for lack of a better word, you start to get a little political, and you start to get like, well, this friend doesn't like that friend, and I don't like this guy, whatever. And
it's high school.
It really is, yeah. And
the jocks and the nerds and the
and what do I always say to that? I say, look, I understand that high schoolish mentality. I'd rather be Ferris Bueller and just kind of get along with everybody, and I like everybody, and try to hope everybody likes me, and that's it. That's we just let. It's too Bond is as much as like again. Bond is too small a world. I'm not going to carve it up. Yeah. So like I said. That part is a little tricky to navigate, but that's
so I've seen infighting, jealousy. I've seen you're right, like disconnects over assumptions that were totally wrong. Like, oh, I think this person's obnoxious. Have you ever met them? No, but I'm assuming this because look at their Instagram. Like, what?
Sure, right. Right. You might say, this one's always wearing the suits and then doing this. He's probably very pretentious. No, he's not. I've met him. He's nice.
Talking about me, and that's fine because we're friends.
I mean, seriously. I mean, like, I'm hard pressed to think of a Bond guy, person, female or male, that I've met and did not genuinely like.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, there's
always something.
Yeah, about that. Even the quirkiest ones. I mean, they're always fun and whatever.
They're fun. They're fun.
You know?
They're the most interesting ones.
They really are.
Okay. So, as you know, and I know that you follow social media, you're a part of the social media as well, is it seems like Eon is getting very thoughtful about using and utilizing, I shouldn't say using because that's a negative terminology, but really taking advantage of the fact that there are influencers in marketing Bond and keeping the foundation, even without a movie, really strong. Lucasfilm did it very successfully.
Sure.
Marvel did it successfully.
Sure.
And I think Eon is really getting on that particular bandwagon. So, if Eon was to engage you in an official capacity, what are some of the things that you would want to do for them and with them to really spread the message of Bond? This is kind of like your chance to do the magic wand thing.
Yeah, right? Wow. That is a great question. Honestly, more events, more gatherings, anything with that in mind, I think would work spectacularly.
Yeah.
Because, and it is funny that, it's odd to me sometimes there are certain brands who've contributed to the Bond experience.
Absolutely.
Clothing brands or whatever. Yet even with that in mind, they kind of don't really want to be connected necessarily. They sort of go out and say, that's nice that we threw in something there, but that's not what we're about.
Right.
It's more fun when they embrace it. It's more fun when they get involved and have fun with the idea that, we're in a Bond movie, and the Bond's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
For 50 years, people have said, it's probably done. And you know what? For 50 years, they've been wrong.
Right. It's
not going anywhere. If it might change, it might evolve, but it's always going to be around. Yeah. So have fun with it. Enjoy it. Roll with it. I would love more, anything that's like a gathering or something that the community can do together would be spectacular.
Yeah. Agreed. And it's interesting. One of the things I could almost see them doing, this is my little magic wand at home, is to really see the Bond community and all the individuals that make it up and really take advantage of the fact that when they get in touch with the New York Times, or when they get in touch with Time Magazine or any of these trades or journals, and these trades and journals do videos and they do blogs and do articles, many times it's not 1/5 the traffic or influence that someone like a being James Bond could have. I mean, because I look at the statistics and analytics. I have a pharmaceutical marketing agency, so we can look behind the scenes. But I think they're actually starting to get very savvy to that, which is pretty exciting.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah.
Again, it's a different world. It's not like trying to if Star Wars is your thing, you can sell a T-shirt and somebody might wear it. Yeah. But you could wear, a Bond shirt is something that everyone would wear, and somebody would say, hey, where is that? Where did you get that?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or where can I get one of those?
The shareability, playable moments are
big
huge.
time. Absolutely, yeah. The way to sort of engage it on a daily basis, as opposed to just like saving it for special occasions.
That's right.
3
months while the movie's out, before and after.
Right.
No.
All the time. Yeah. All the time you live like Bond, do the Bond things, wear the Bond clothing, wear the Bond watches, whatever. Drink the Bond cocktails. Again, all the time. And it's not something that has to be saved for,
And it's not owned by the rich. It's not owned by the poor. It's just across the whole board.
Totally.
Okay. Because we could talk hours on that. We got to be careful because you have such a patience for us. If you were allowed, if somebody came to you and said, you can be a part of any Bond experience. So, for example, you could be in Bond 25 as an extra. You could be, you could take a Lotus Esprit out on a drive for a day in Italy. Imagine any Bond experience that you would want to have, meeting a celebrity or star for 10 minutes or whatever it is. And I know you did not prep for this, so this is a Rorschach test. What would be that Bond experience? What is that one pinnacle one?
That's great, boy. Being in Bond 25 is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Because again, I know people who've been in Bonds before as an extra, and
Ramert.
So that's a nice little feather in your cap to say I was actually in one of the films.
Yeah.
That would be pretty sweet. There's also a lot of locations that I have yet to visit that are still on the bucket list.
Yeah.
So I would say that's definitely one of them.
You have to pick one.
I have to pick one.
Because you could sit here and do an entire list. What's the one, the pinnacle? Fairy Godmother is going to disappear in like 20 seconds.
Fairy Godmother, so price is no object?
Price is no object. And nor is the celebrity or person or whatever.
Possibly buying the Palmyra estate.
Yes!
Redoing it.
Yes!
Bringing it back to its original luster. And then having like the Bond party to beat all Bond parties. I think that would probably be the one.
Dude, that's the answer. You could have added one last thing. Having all the Bonds show up.
That would be pretty sweet. That would be pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
You were thinking bigger than me. Even I thought I was up here.
Yeah.
You took it.
That's what we do. We feed off of each other. All right, last one, but it's a pretty big one because it's about being James Bond's future. Now, everybody, I would think, if you don't, you should have this. If you don't already, though, they can get it. So where do they get this from, by the way?
You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Lulu.com. I think Lulu is the cheapest price. So yeah, they're still out there. Grab it quick, because Volume 2 is finally, literally, I know I've been saying it for a long time.
So you jumped ahead of the question, which is great. What's the future of being James Bond?
The future of being James Bond. I am doing a lot more videos these days, which I'm really enjoying.
And they're great.
Yeah, thank you. And honestly, it's great because I've had like a nice, the last 2 years, I finally said, you know what, I need to video and document everything.
Yeah.
So little by little, I'm doing these travel logs, which has been a lot of fun. So more of that, definitely more podcasts. And Volume 2 is finally, I promise.
What the?
Oh my goodness, what is this? This is my advanced chapter. This is the food and wine chapter, and it's heavy. It's very heavy, and that's honestly why.
Wait, this is just one chapter?
That's just one chapter.
This is like a dissertation. I cannot wait.
It's literally 50 pages.
Oh my gosh!
It's not double spaced.
All right. So because this will be posted. So when is Volume 2 in its entirety going to be coming out?
I am shooting. It will definitely be done before Bond 25 is released.
Okay.
I'm hoping to get it done. I would like to get it done right around when they announce the title.
So maybe December.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I have myself on a
You
really
gotta get your ass in gear.
rigid schedule to try to get this sucker done. And it's frustrating because again, it's always been close to done, but that last, it's one of those things where I think it's the last little bit of polishing and you go, oh, I have to do this, I have to do this. So yeah, it is definitely in the home stretch. So hopefully by Bond 25 or a little earlier.
Joe, move your ass. Quantum code. I had to. Geek. So you mentioned something about videos. I don't want to gloss over that because one of the things that I've loved is, obviously I've loved your podcasts. I think that, and I've told this to Joe for a long time, as you could tell, you've got a personality. And I think that we need more personalities. I love websites. I love articles. I love pictures. I'm a big Instagram fan. They're wonderful. But there's something dimensional about getting to know the individual.
Agreed.
On the podcast, you can feel that. It's something very visceral and visual when suddenly I'm seeing you talk to me and talk to the screen. So more videos. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm trying. Again, I find myself being behind the camera most often, so it is a little tricky to kind of.
Yeah.
But you honestly have inspired me a lot to do much more video because again, I know yours have been a tremendous success and everyone loves them. So yeah, definitely more video. I think that's that's the future, honestly.
It is.
I think that's definitely the way to go forward. So
I love it.
I will definitely do that.
And I love that we're actually talking about doing some integration, some cross modulation, whatever you call it.
Absolutely.
Which I'm excited about.
I think one of my first videos years ago, before I was really doing it steadily, was the Zaritsky collection, and it was huge, and everyone loved it, and they always ask me, like, when are you going to do more of that?
Yes, it's hard for me to watch that. That was a
long time ago. That was like 10 years ago.
I think you can find that on the web somewhere, right?
I still got it on Being James Bond. Yeah.
Be gentle.
The website's actually going through a little revamp too, so that'll actually be updated around this time of Volume 2. So yeah, it's all there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Joe, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
He flew in all the way from New Jersey, and it's hard to do that.
And it's true.
So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
One of my good friends for years. We've been through a lot together, but I'm so happy to share this moment so you can get to know Joe a little bit better. This has been Joe Darlington from Being James Bond and David Zaritsky from the Bond Experience, and we will see you very soon, right?
Yep.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Take care.
Oh, hey, you're still here. Hi. Didn't even know. You listen, while you're here, if you want, so I would actually go to this button right here and click on it because then you actually subscribe to our vlogs. It's amazing. You get to see all the upcoming stuff first. You get notifications. It screams at you while you're at work. It's absolutely amazing. Just click on this button, hit subscribe. Just move your cursor.